Hey, this is Mike with Marshall CNC and Woodworking, and I am working on a new dining table for my best friends. They had bought a cheap particle board table and something's happened to the top, so they wanted a new top made. And we found out that the apron, also particle board, was also glued to the bottom of the top. So we are redoing a new top, a new apron, and the legs were solid wood, beech wood. So I have reused the legs and stripped them, and they've been painted white. So this video is to show you how I tink painted furniture to make it look weathered. In this case, it'll be weathered white. They don't want pure white. So I'll go through the steps here in a second on how I do that. First, I want to show you the old tabletop, the old apron, the new tabletop, which I just sprayed the bottom, and the new apron, which I made out of oak, same as the top. It's going to be a two-tone table. The top is going to be stained. The legs and apron are painted white, but they will be weathered with tinking. So hang on just a second and I'll show you the old and the new stuff. This is the old top. It's made out of particle board, a brownish stain. They had some damage done to the top, so that's why they wanted a new one. And I'll put the apron up here. And as you can see, it's particle board glued together. So the new apron I copied, and I made it out of oak. It's been painted white. And this is what I'm going to tink along with the legs. I'll show you the legs here in a second when we do the tinking. I just put a final spray on the underside of the new table. It's oak. It's a custom mixed stain. And both tabletops are 42 by 42. The old tabletop was 3/4. The new one is 13/16. And as you can see, I've got a lot of projects going on right now. And this table is taking up quite a bit of room, so I want to get it out of the way. Okay, I've flipped the old tabletop over. I'm going to use it as a workspace for the video. I'm going to end up burning it anyway. These two legs, as you can see, one has already been tinked. The other one's still pure white. So I painted the wood white, left it rough. I did not seal sand it yet. And what I do is take in this case, a dark gray stain, and I wipe it directly on the white paint. And then I wipe it back off, and then I use a sanding pad, sponge, to seal sand the white paint to make it smooth, and it also takes off or leaves on as much stain as you want. So that's the idea, is you're putting on another color on top of the base color, and you're going to seal sand that color off and leave as much as you want, or take it down to almost nothing. But as you can see, the stain goes down in the grain, and this leg is completely smooth, and then it'll get a top coat over it. I'll do the same thing with the apron, and I'll spin that around. Before I start on the good side of anything, You can see over here that I practiced on the oak on the inside of the apron. And I don't know if you can see it in the video or not, but this side is a little gray compared to this other side that's pure white. And I sanded a little bit off. I stepped back and I can sand more of the stain off since it's sitting right on top of the paint. So let me get my gloves on and I'll go through the process on one leg, and then I'll do the apron and show you how the stain goes down in the grain, but then you can take it off of the flat surface. And you're also seal sanding at the same time to make the paint smooth, ready for a top coat. Okay, I think I'm ready. I'm gonna pan out. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna take a clean rag, and I've got some dark gray stain here. I'm gonna lightly apply the stain. You don't have to cover the whole thing. Just a little bit. And I'm barely going to touch it. But I am going to go with the grain up and down the leg, not sideways. It doesn't matter how much you get on, because you can take it right back off. So when that is mostly covered, I'll just fold my rag where it's clean. I'm going to wipe that in, kind of smear it in. You might be able to hear that the wood is rough from the paint raising the grain. That's not going to matter because I'm going to seal sand it. Okay, so that's the gray side. There's the white side. I'm going to take a sanding sponge and lightly start sanding it. And then when I'm lightly rubbing, I don't want to press too hard initially, because I don't want to go through the paint down the raw wood. Not sure you can see that. Okay. So at the same time that I'm taking the stain off, I'm seal sanding the paint where it's smooth. And I want to leave just a little bit of gray on there. Hopefully this is showing up in the video. But I'm not going through the paint down the raw wood. You take off as much as you want, or as little. Now, I'm not sure you can see it. This is the pure white side. That's the gray side. And hopefully you can see that the stain stays down in the grain. And again, the pure white side is still rough. And I'll have pictures of the completed table, apron, and legs when I'm all finished. But I wanted to at least share the process of tinking to where you can weather a base color, make it look older or weathered. Okay. So I'll do one more side of this leg and stir this stain. It has white in the stain, so it floats to the top. Now I'll get my wet side back of the rag and just put a little bit on. Again, go with the length of the leg. You don't have to put a lot on if you're gonna take it back off. The more you put on, the more you have to take off. So I'm gonna stop there, and then I'll wipe off the excess, and it will all smear together and be sporadic. So by not allowing the stain to dry, it's sitting right on top of the paint, so it should come off for the most part. Okay, now that's what I've got. That's the side I did. All right. Let me see if I can get a light real quick. Maybe help with you being able to see the light gray on the white. Okay, I forgot that I had bought a 10,000 lumen Husky shop light, which hopefully that'll help to show. This is the side that I'm doing right now. And that's the side that I already did. I'm hoping this shows up. Okay, so now I'm going to take my sanding sponge again, and I'm going to take off what I don't want on there. The stain will stay down in the grain, and I'm seal sanding the paint at the same time to make it smooth. As long as you don't rub too hard initially, you can keep going over it. If you're not satisfied on how much you've taken off, you step back and realize that it's still too gray, or you didn't take off enough of your color. You can still sand on it and not go through to the wood. But I always go light on the sanding. I don't want to go through to raw wood. Alright. Blow this off. Alright, we'll see if that shows up. I don't know if it does or not. So there's the first side, the second, and then this is still pure white paint. So hopefully you get the idea that you can take a solid white and darken it, discolor it a little bit, and put something down into the grain that grabs. And you're smoothing out your white paint ready for top coat at the same time. All right, so let me grab the apron. I'll do a little bit on that. So this side over here, let's see if I can get it closer. I don't know if it shows up or not. This side has been done. This one's a little bit darker still. I haven't sanded as much of the stain off yet. You can see how it goes down in the grain of the oak. And I'll see if I can do it to where you can see it. Okay. I'll try to do it right here where you can see it. I'll just do a little bit. I don't want to go too dark, so I'm barely touching the rag. At the same time, I'm going to use this clean part down here, and you can wipe it in and wipe the excess off. I'll wipe it off. Smear it in. It doesn't have to be perfect because it wants to look weathered. I'll take my sanding pad. Just barely rubbing on it that much, took that much stain off. But it grabbed down in the grain. So what they want is, they don't want gray, they want white, make it look old and weathered. So I'll leave this right here so you can see that it's still unsanded. And hopefully that shows up. But here's the difference between the two with unsanded stain in the middle. I think it's going to look nice. Now if it's still too gray, you can sand more, and I'm barely sanding. And it'll lighten up. But the gray stays down in that oak grain. Okay, so I think that's it for this video. I appreciate it. Thanks.